Welcome class to English 1301. My name is Lawrence Welsh, or Mr. Welsh, or Larry Welsh, and I'm your professor. So far, you have seen the syllabus. I've given you 3 or 4 major announcements that you received. 3 handouts, and today I'm going to help you with our first major assignment, the memoir. All right? So, once again, welcome to English 1301. The main mode that we're going to be dealing with this semester is Blackboard. Okay? Students, if you ever need to contact me and you want to send me a message, send it through Blackboard messages. Also, later in the semester, when work is due, you will send your work through to me simply through Blackboard messages. And we'll talk more about that. All right? We'll talk more about that. So, class, let's talk about some deadlines for the memoir. If you're in classes 11924 and 11941, look at your course policies and calendar, and you will see, and this is once again what I sent you, that the date for the due date for the memoir is the 17th, okay? September 17th. So take your time. I would print out a hard copy of the course policies and calendar. Excuse me, a few allergies here. So you can always have the course policies, the syllabus with you, so you know what's due when. The 17th for you. And then my Tuesday and Thursday classes, which are online, but are set up if we were meeting in class on a Tuesday, Thursday schedule, sections 12699, 11944, and 12092. If you look at your syllabus and calendar, it tells us once again that this essay is due, the completed portfolio, on the 21st of September. So that gives us time, okay? That gives us time. You've already did a bunch of the readings, so you know what's up, where we are. One of the things that's very important in this class and working with Blackboard is for you, once again, to do the readings, to digest the material. Then I'll lecture on the material to help you. But if you don't do the readings and get the work done, that is very prescriptive, and on the calendar for each day that I've listed here, the activities, you'll be lost. And I don't want you to be lost because I don't give you a ton of reading, but I do give you a bit, and you need to do that reading. You need to do the exercises to know where we are and what's happening in the class. So good. So let's talk about on the 17th and the 21st, what are you going to turn into me? Through Blackboard messages on that day, you will turn in a first draft of your essay. You will turn in a final draft of your essay. And then you will turn in verification, letting me know that you workshopped it through the Writing Center. All right? Writing Center helps. We'll talk about that. And I'll give you that information, okay, for the Writing Center. But it's there. And you will workshop your essay with them. And then also you're going to turn in your essay in the correct format for college essays. And I will lecture on that in my next lecture. We're not there yet. I will show you exactly how a college essay should look and will look, okay? And basically, even though you're going to be turning it in a digitized version, it's going to look exactly like an old school essay did 100 years ago. Not much has changed. And the appearance. Okay, part of my job is to help you see how an essay is supposed to look for college in its appearance. I'm going to help you with that. I'm going to give you an example exactly how an essay should look, and it's on the course policies and calendar, the basics of it, but I'll show you, class. So then when you turn that in, I will go to your portfolio, see that we got a first draft, see we got a final draft in the correct formatting, see that you've gone to the writing center and you've workshopped it there, then I'll grade it. All right? Then I'll grade it. So you know those due dates, and you know what's coming in. And like I said, I will send you a heads up on the writing center in the next week or so. And I will go over in my next lecture proper formatting for a college essay and help you with that. So far, class, you've received from me 3 handouts that talk about what we're doing now. I'm going to lecture on that. We're writing a memoir. You know about that because you've read about it. You've read Gary Soto's great example of a memoir, Black Hair. Yesterday, I posted another memoir and more aspects of memory work that you need to do. Another excellent aspect of a memoir was Annie Dillard's Throwing Snowballs. If you haven't read that, read it. I can't help you if you don't read the material and you don't know it. The other day I was in class and I had some students who, even though they had this material for well over like a week and a half, some students were lost because, it wasn't a lot of reading, but you got to know the reading and stay up with it to have a good class discussion. We had some class, I had another class everybody had read, all right? So it's all good. I'm just here to help. I'm your college professor. I'm here to help you. So we've taken care of that. So you've had 3 handouts. You've had announcements from me. You've had the syllabus from me. Let's get into, once again, the writing from recall essay. This is what you're going to do for me. All the readings, all the study that you're doing for me is in preparation for you writing a memoir. So, if you've done your homework, you've looked over those homework exercises, you're in good shape. Let's talk about one of the challenges of writing a memoir. Okay? The first challenge that a writer confronts is focus. So if I were you, you're starting to think now, possibly, what am I going to write my memoir about? It's going to be 700 to 1,000 words. How can I focus it? Okay. When writing about a familiar and very often powerful personal experience. So class, we want your memoir to be about a powerful personal experience. So I'm going to give you some examples of those in just a minute. All right. When a writer has to do that, sometimes it's hard to make objective decisions about the most effective method of presenting that experience to the readers. On one hand, it is tempting to include every detail that comes to mind. On the other, because the experience is so familiar, you may overlook details that you need. So you want to start thinking about, what's my purpose in this writing? Okay? What do I want to let the reader know? Because every essay is going to have a climax and then an epiphany where you're going to, in some way or another, as best as you can, let the reader know what you learned from this life experience that you're in. Okay? What the main point of your memoir is going to be. Then you let it roll, class. You may find that the minute you are asked to write about a significant experience. So be thinking right now, what can I write about that's significant? What happened in the past? When you're asked to write about a significant experience in your life The very incident will flash into your mind, but give long ago memories, once again, time to surface up. Long ago memories, class. That may be your memoir that you want to write about. Probably, well, come to you first, maybe recent memories, but give long ago memories time to surface. Be ready for any recollection that well up unexpectedly. Often, when you are busy doing something else, observing the scene around you, thinking about the past, reading someone else's experience, the activity can trigger a recollection from the past. And when you have one, write it down. Yeah, the other day, I do a few in classes this semester. A young woman said, Mr. Welsh, that Gary Soto essay triggered a lot of memories. It made me think about my father. Good. Or it made me think about maybe what happened to me when I was 17. I had another gentleman in class say the other day, Mr. Welsh, I didn't go through what Gary Soto went. But you know, he said it was very powerful, he said in class. But he said, Mr. Welsh, I've had my own struggles. And I'm like, excellent, right? Because I did too at 17. I did too at 17. Struggles. Can you write about a struggle, right? Annie Dillard. When you read her essay, Throwing Snowballs, once again, she puts us in that scene of a memory of when she was 9 years old in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Her essay is simpler to write. She dropped us into that scene. And her scene only took place maybe a couple hours one morning. A memory of youth. You'll have to do that for me. Are we ready yet? No. But once again, class, as you're doing this, brainstorm and free write. Brainstorm and free write. When you're free writing, when you're trying to think, what am I going to write about? Sometimes just get out a journal and, get it down. This is a brand new journal. I didn't even know I was going to bring this in, but throw it down. Just brainstorm. Write fast, class. Write fast. And get it down. Get down whatever. That's what we want to do. When we brainstorm, we start thinking, wow, what maybe is my, once again, memoir going to be about? Let me get those ideas down fast. And then you save them, and that could be the start, once again, of your essay. Once again, we hit it, class. This is just one of my journals. I've got hundreds of these because, class, I'm nothing special. But once again, I'm a writer. What do writers do? They write. What do writers do after they write? Hopefully, they're going to try and publish. What do they do after publish? Maybe they try and publish some books. All right? And we stay at it, class. So write it down. Brainstorm. Thinking about it once again. What comes to my mind? And class, when you brainstorm, you write fast. You just try and get things down because you're trying to get things out of your mind. You're trying to get things on the page. And you try and move it fast because that's where the good writing comes from. And then once you got something on the page, then you've got something to work with, right? I don't believe in writer's block. Class, I spent 5 years as a daily newspaper reporter in Los Angeles, and I worked on 2 college newspapers. Sometimes I had to do 3 and 4 stories a day, sometimes 1 story a day. So I can't believe in writer's block. Writer's block is writers afraid to write poorly, and we all have to be able to write poorly, all right? When I used to have an editor say to me, Welsh, I need that story in 40 minutes, and tell me I need 15 column inches, I'd sit down. It was old school. It was computers then too. Bang it out, man. I'd write it and send it to him. So Get it down. Get something on the page. Brainstorm. Start thinking. And don't be afraid of it, class. Because you are where you are. We're all somewhere, right? I was talking about books. I got my 13th book coming out in a couple months from a press in New Mexico. Doesn't mean I'm special. Just means that I'm a writer, right? Writers write. And they try and publish and they, whatever, I don't know. But I'm just like you. I'm a student. I'm trying to do a class. Hit it. You don't have to have fancy green ink like this or written with a fountain pen. Just grab anything. Brainstorm. Thinking about, what am I going to write about? What am I going to write about? Right? Okay. If you're going to write, I'm going to write. Brainstorm it. Get it down. And give yourself permission to be you. Class. To be you. You're not looking to be anyone else but you. Give yourself permission to, in this, write your own story. Give your permission to write about your life. I write about mine. I write about other people's. I write about El Paso. I write about my decades in Los Angeles, where I grew up. You be you. Don't worry about where you're at as a writer. We're all somewhere and we're all trying to improve. And a lot of us, like your professor, has to work. How much work do you have to put in for an essay like this? Depends a lot. When I write an essay like this, it takes time. It takes work. Some people are quicker than others. I'm not very fast. I'm still working, still hustling. So brainstorm. Brainstorm is a good way to jog your memory. Just get out your journal or a piece of paper, cut piece of paper, set your watch, your phone, whatever, for 20 minutes. Just write. 20 minutes, the alarm goes off. You'll be amazed at what you have. Don't think about grammar. Don't think about punctuation. Don't think about self-esteem. Don't think about anything. Just write and be you. Class. Searching your memory. Where could a memoir come from? Let me give you an example of some memoirs that you could write. Class, did you ever break an important rule or rebel against authority? Did you ever break an important rule or rebel against authority? What happened? What did you learn? Think about that. A rebellion. If you haven't, that's all right. Class, chances are you will, before you die, rebel against something. What could be a rebellion? Stealing a car? Ditching school? Getting caught for curfew violations? Maybe drinking when you weren't supposed to be drinking or never drank before and got busted? Maybe smoke something when you shouldn't have smoked something? I don't know. Ask yourself, did you rebel ever? Did you rebel against your family? Did you rebel against your church? I'm not saying that you should. Sometimes some people do growing up things like this. Okay? Did you do something wrong one night at the football game and get caught for it or thrown out of school? Did you get busted by the cops for doing something you weren't supposed to do? Think about that time, that event. That could be your essay. Class, did you ever succumb to peer pressure? A big one. Did you ever succumb to peer pressure? Could your essay be a peer pressure essay? Yes. What were the results of going along with the crowd? What did you learn? Peer pressure. I've had students write essays before. I've been doing this a long time, class. I've been a professor a long time. I still dig it. And that's why I'm still doing it. But I've read a lot of good essays. I one time wrote a memoir of a student that she got pregnant the first time she ever had sex. And she didn't want to get pregnant. And that night she was in a blackout. She didn't even know who she slept with. She wrote me an essay about succumbing to peer pressure. Class, peer pressure. Did you ever do something you maybe didn't want to do, but you were pressured into it? Maybe something to do with sex. Class. Maybe something to do with like smoking marijuana. Class, thing about marijuana and some of these other things is some people can do it and some can't. Some people get pulled into that world. They like it so much they become stoners. They're stoned 5-6 times a day. I've taught stoners in college. A lot of them can't get through school because they're stoned. They say, oh, Mr. Wilson, I'd rather get stoned than write an essay for you. Like, I know that world. Ask yourself, does it, once again, did you succumb to peer pressure and something happened with it? Class. I had a student the other day succumbing to peer pressure. She told me, Mr. Welsh, in class, Mr. Welsh, I've been sober for 7 months. And she's a young woman. And I thought, that's fantastic. But a normal drinker doesn't have to get sober. Right? But she said it was causing her problems. So she hadn't had a drink in 7 months. And she said she feels great and life is great. And I'm thinking the reason that she went on the wagon or whatever is because it was causing her trouble. So, maybe something happened with peer pressure one night. Maybe she got so sucked into that world that she felt she couldn't get out. I told her, she asked me, how can I start that? I said, write about your bottom. What happened that night when you decided you were through? And now you've got 7 months sobriety. Good for you. Not everyone has to do that. She wanted to do it. Good for her. I know about that world, class. I know about that world. Write about it, I told her. What happened at that moment when you decided, where were you when you decided it's over? I'm getting off this crazy train. Now, I'm done. She said, oh, Mr. Welsh, I feel good. I feel good. I look good. I said, right on. You're not putting any of that poison in your system. Some people can do it. Some people can have a drink and put it down. Some can't. Some can't. Same with the dope. What did you learn? What were the results of going along with the crowd? What did you learn? Class. Did you ever regard a person in a certain way and have to change your mind? Think about that, class. Back to peer pressure. Could be getting pregnant. Could be, once again, oh, I don't know. Any of those things. Class. Did you ever regard a person a certain way and then have to change your opinion of him or her? That could be your memoir. Maybe you had a boyfriend or girlfriend, you thought they were the greatest person in the world, and then boom, they let you down. Or a relative let you down. What happened? When you thought your aunt was little Miss Perfection, then you find out she's in jail, down at the county lockup. What happened? What happened? What sort of scam was she running? Class, we can't control anything in our lives in regards to our families. We can only try and control ourselves. Sometimes that's hard too. Did you ever have to choose between two equally attractive alternatives? How might have your life been different if you have chosen differently? Class, that's a crossroads. That's a good memoir. Say you're at the crossroads. Okay? You could write an essay like this for me. You're at the crossroads. You get pregnant. Do you have the baby? Do you not have the baby? That's a crossroads. Two alternatives. What happened? Looking back on it, did you make the right decision? I don't know if there's a right or wrong decision. You can write about it. Two equally attractive alternatives, class. You're going to go to this high school or that high school. Or that maybe you got a scholarship here and a scholarship there. You're at that cross. You'll move out of your parents' house or not stay in your parents' house. It's a tough time with this COVID and pandemic. Class. You can write about that, class. Have you ever been appalled by witnessing an act of prejudice or insensitivity? Have you ever been appalled by witnessing an act of prejudice or insensitivity? What did you do? Do you wish you would have done something different? Class. I hope that never happened to you. El Paso's a pretty good place for this some sort of stuff, but it happens. Can happen any way you play it, class. Any way you play it. When I was 12 years old in South Central Los Angeles in the ghetto, I was stabbed. I was fighting all the time down there. I wish it wasn't so, but I had to. It was full of rage. It was full of hate. There's a lot of rough stuff on the street. I got stabbed in the face at the age of 12. I thought I was dead. And it was all because I was the wrong color in the wrong neighborhood. I was what you call the neighborhood white boy, and there weren't many there were like very few white boys then in my neighborhood. And it was like, white boy, white boy, white boy, we're going to kill you. So I was always like, oh man, this is rough, man. Why did I have to grow up down here? Why did I have to stay down here? Why am I going to have to fight down here? I learned to fight. My father taught me. But what I suffered was racial insensitivity because I was white. There's a lot of hatred down there because of that. Now, on the flip side, I know be racial insensitivity that you've suffered somewhere for being black, or did it ever happen to you for being Mexican, Mexican American, Japanese, Chinese, who knows? I hope this stuff never happens, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens to some of my students when they leave El Paso. But no matter what happens, class, we all are who we are. We all need to heal. You stay strong and carry on. Can you write about it? Racial insensitivity. What happened? What did you learn? Do you wish you had did something different? Class, was there ever a moment of your life when you decided to reform, to adopt a whole new outlook? How would you characterize your attempt? Successful, unsuccessful, laughing, painful? I don't know, maybe the time that you decided that you wanted to quit smoking cigarettes. My son's in high school, is a senior at El Paso High right now. He tells me, Daddy, people don't smoke anymore. They don't smoke cigarettes. I said, every time I go into the 7-Eleven, I see 1,000 packs in front of me. Somebody's smoking them. We just came back from getting his haircut on the west side. I just got him his haircut. We're outside of some bar, which is right next to the barbershop. The bar was open, and there's these 4 young ladies out there. They were actually leaning on our car. I said, look at that, Patrick. He said, what's up, Daddy? I said, look at that. All 4 of them women were smoking cigarettes. I said, you told me no one smoked cigarettes anymore, Daddy. I said, I think they do. Look at them 4 gals. Hitting it, hitting it, hitting it, hitting it. I said, somebody's buying them, Patrick. So class, maybe a time you decided to reform, to adopt a whole new outlook. And I'm not saying cigarettes are good. It's good that people aren't smoking anymore. But my son told me some people are smoking these vape things. I don't know, what the hell is that? They get caught at his school with them. You can't vape this or vape that. I said, go get yourself a pack of Marlboros. Let's forget about the vape. I'm just joking, class. I don't tell him that. I hope he never starts. You don't start, you don't have to stop. Class, class decided to reform, to drop a whole new outlook. I told you about the young woman I was just talking about. There's been time in my life where I had to reform. I wanted to. Sometimes it takes some steps. Say, come on, man, you need to change. Things aren't going so well in your life. You're not living so healthy. I had a student come up to me when we're still meeting classes, and one year she said, "Oh, Mr. Welsh," she goes, "I'm in bad shape." I said, "What's going on? You're young. You're a young woman." "Oh, Mr. Welsh," she said, "I'm so fat. I'm so out of shape. I feel like hell. I don't." She goes, "What's killing me is my cell phone. I'm on it 24 hours a day. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Grindr. I'm on GoFish.com. I'm on NotFishing.com. I'm on Hookup.com." She goes, "I can't put that thing down. It's killing me. I'm eating too much." I said, "All right, all right, all right. You are a young woman, 19. What are you going to do about it?" She said, "I'm going to change. I'm going to change." I saw her a couple of years later. She had. She had. I told her, take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. Put that phone down. Get out. Go exercise. Start eating right if you want. She wrote the essay. She was a good writer, too. I said, "Come on now. You're 19. You don't have to die at 19. Just barely alive. Change." Change is hard, class, sometimes. And one more example, a whole new code reform. I had a student who told me she's never going to do ecstasy again. She had done so much of it, she ended up in the hospital. She wrote a good essay about that. Then, 2 years later, she's in my class. She's focused, laser focused, wants to kick ass in school. If you want to kick ass in school, I'm not going to stop you. I'm only going to help you. But you got to want it. She wanted it. She wrote me a great essay about overdosing on ecstasy. I said, "All right. Now, class, let's talk about all these positive things." You could write about all these positive things in your life. The first time you felt love. Can you drop us in there if you had? Love for an animal. I had a guy write a great article about the love he had for his Chihuahua. He said he never loved anything in his life like he loved his Chihuahua. It's a beautiful dog story. He dropped us into it. He's an older guy, about 30 years old in my class. He could write. I helped him. Wasn't perfect, but it was good. Okay. First time you fell in love. You could write about that. First time you had a spiritual experience. Do I believe in a spiritual experience? It makes no difference what I believe. If you write about it, I'm going to listen to it, and you can write about it. I've had students that told me that they've had Jesus show up to them in dreams and stuff. Can I write about Mr. Wells? Yes. Sometimes some students have told me they've had powerful spiritual experiences with the saints. Can you write about it? Yes. Some people told me they've had situations with the Virgin Mother in prayer. Can I write about it? Yes. Some people told me that the Holy Ghost or Holy Spirit has come to them. Can you write it? Yes. Sometimes they say their relatives have come back as saints and ghosts and pray. Yes. Anything. Spiritual experiences in the desert. Yes. Do I believe in those things? I'll just say I do. Because I believe in the spirit world. Can you write about Buddhism? Something happened to you in Buddhism class? Yes. Can you write about Hinduism, Muslimism, Native American spirituality, once again, Celtic mysticism? If something powerful happened to you, let us know. I'll read it. I stay open. I don't have all the answers, class. I don't have any of the answers. So I'll read your essays. And if you tell me something happened from the spirit realm, I'm a professor to say, that's great. And then occasionally I'll say, if you ever go back to that spirit realm again, say up a prayer for Mr. Welsh. Keep me in your prayers. Sometimes I pray for my students when they ask me to. That's just my thing. I believe, class, in all sorts of things. You write about it, I'll treat it with respect. First, maybe the first time you won the city basketball league. Maybe the time, maybe you were on a football team and you did win homecoming. When my daughter was at El Paso High, it seemed like 3 out of the 4 years she was there, they always beat Austin. Austin's kicking El Paso's High's ass now for a bunch of years. And when my wife went to El Paso High, she said Austin always won. And whoever wins gets to keep the claw. It's like the oldest tradition in El Paso high school history, the claw. Class, maybe you won a big game in high school. I want to hear about it. I like sports. Maybe you made the cheerleading team. Maybe you got the first time you got an A on an English essay. Maybe you won the speech tournament. Maybe you were in a play and you had an ecstatic experience on stage. Maybe the first time you felt that you were going to this ecstatic state as a musician, as a rapper. Class, music is all about ecstasy. It can be. There's pain in it, but there's also ecstatic experiences. What happened to you? Or the night you really figured out you mastered some piece of jazz music in a jazz ensemble, right? Or you went to state, or you went to regionals, or you won the soccer tournament, or you caught the winning touchdown, or you made that basket at the buzzer beater. Class, I love those stories. Good things, good positive things. Class, you can write about any of those. Now, so do some free writing. Think what you want to write about. And then you're going to start drafting. Class, then you're going to start drafting. Now, I want to talk about, so do that for me. You're going to start drafting. 700,000 words. Think about what you want to write about and then do it. Going back and looking so far at Gary Soto. Black hair. Andy Dillard's throwing snowballs. And there's all these techniques that we're going to talk about that you can use for your essay. How do you drop us in? A lot of ways to drop us in. Class. On this homework that we have on the course policies and calendar, it says read pages 170 to 172 in this handout. And you have that handout. So in it starts doing some things that can help you think about what you want to write about. Springboards. It says think about a couple of these things of free write. So I don't want you to get hung up with this homework. I'm not going to pick up this homework. But this homework will help you write your essay. So I'm going to lecture on it right now. Page 171. It says one of the things you can do. Writing a memoir. Recall a person, place, or event from your past and write a memoir. So that's what you're going to do. Think about a thing that happened to you in the past. You write your memoir. You will want to use, listen, in your memoir, as you saw in Gary Soto and Annie Dillard, you're going to use detail and sensory impression to recreate the moment for your readers. The other day we were in class and we're talking about Gary Soto's black hair, and I had about 3 or 4 students say, Mr. Welsh, man, I really like the way he uses images. I like the way he uses details. I like the way he used language and sentences. I told my students I do too. That's the reason why I assigned it. The great Chicano writer Gary Soto from around Fresno, California, up in the kind of Central Valley class. Memoirs function to help both writers and readers understand the past. This is a good time for you to probe significant times in your life, revisiting them now, class, that you have some distance from them, right? So, one of the things it says here you could think about, it's not the only thing, we're trying to get you to jog your memory. Focus on a job you have held sometime in the past, as Gary Soto does. How could you reconstruct the experience of work in order to reveal something about its significance to you and others. So, something happened in a job you had. I've read some good work memoirs, 700 to 1,000 words. Class, your memoir. 2, this is a great one. Pick a photograph that holds memories and emotional associations. You might, for example, focus on a particular detail, excuse me, that recalls a particular moment in the past to explore how your family's history intersects largest socials and historical forces. Look through old photo albums, snapbooks, collages if you have them. So you could see like a photo and say, wow, there's my grandpa. I remember this day when that happened. Or there's my grandma in that photo. Or my mother. Or my father, who's either with us now or not with us. All photographs are great springboards. They could springboard you into your memoir. Look at this, class. Recall number 3. Recall a particular family ritual, such as visits to the grandparents' house, Sunday dinners, summer vacations, holiday celebrations, weddings, and so on. And a way to focus on an event or a person that is especially significant to you. Maybe it was a quinceañera. Class, you got to let us know. This is powerful. It's why I'm writing about it. And this is what I learned. Class, I love this one. Consider some aspect of your own cultural ancestry. Whether it is the language your ancestors spoke, kind of food or music, a family tradition, an heirloom that has been passed down from generation to generation to explain how the past has entered your life and what it reveals about your relationship to the culture of your ancestors, right? So we all have aspects of that relationship. El Paso is fantastic because it's deep and heavy. And a lot, not all, some of my students speak Spanish, right? And so that's fantastic because that's a ticket to the old world, right? And so consider that aspect of your culture. Even if sometimes culture may cause you pain. It used to cause me pain as a kid. My mom would always tell me, you're Irish, you're Irish, you're Irish. And it was like, you're Irish and, she was a good woman. You're Irish and there's some pain going to be involved in that. And then I went to Ireland, of course. I've been there, 4 times? Find out I'm Irish American. But my mom was from Ireland, and she didn't leave Ireland until she was in her 30s. And she's from Tipperary. My father was Irish American. So we grew up in one of those households where they talked a lot about the old country and about what it was to be Irish. And sometimes I'd be like, oh man, this is too heavy. This is too heavy. There's some pain involved in that. Pain, historical pain, cultural pain. But they taught me to be proud, and over the years I learned a lot about it, You learn about what you need to learn about, class. A lot of you are Chicanos, Chicanas, some aren't. Black, white, Mexican, Mexican-American, Puro Mexicanos, all this stuff, class. Consider some aspect of your own cultural ancestry and write about it. Because we can only be who we are. And in all the years I've taught in El Paso, a place I deeply love, there's some great culture here. And great families here, class. Look at this. Focus on a child. Number 5, focus on a childhood incident as Annie Dillard does to recreate that event in your own perspectives as a young person. Something big happened to you in childhood. Can you remember that day? Can you remember that night? Can you write about that afternoon that it happened? Class, finally in here, it says look through an old diary or journal if you have kept one. right? If you haven't kept one yet and you're young, my hope is that someday you will. Sometimes I get pissed at myself. Why didn't I keep a diary when I was 18, 19, 20 and really hit it hard? I didn't. But soon after that, I started. And I've done it a lot for all these years. I'm glad I have because, you know, diaries help us sort things out, and it helps us write. Look through an old diary or journal if you have kept one. Look for moments when you faced an occasion that challenged your values or where you had a different decision to make, experienced a situation that turned out unexpectedly, or were keenly disappointed. Consider using these memories as the starting place, for your memoir, in which you can reflect upon the experience and put it into a larger context. So there it is, class. I've given you a lot of information about the memoir. Now you get to write it. All right? You get to write it. So take your time. Remember that for some of you, your deadline is the 17th of September. Classes 11924 and 11941. Then, for my other two classes, 12699, 11944, and 12092, your deadline's September 21st. What are you going to turn into me? First, over through Blackboard messages, first draft, final draft, verification that you went to the writing center. When I get those three things, I'll make sure that it's all there. Boom, then I'll grade it. Upcoming days, I will give you the information about the writing center. I will be showing you the correct essay format. This will be all way before you have to turn in your essay. Your job now, start drafting. First of all, think about what you want to write about. And make it simple, class. Make it simple. And then, class, enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, class. I'm going to watch this ink kind of go up and down like this. This pen's about 5 years old. It's had a few problems. It cracked the other night, but I fixed it. Class. And then, draft. And then when you write, class, once again, be good to yourself. Just try and get some things down. I've been doing this a lot of years. I've worked with a lot of students. I've had to work this way myself too. Give yourself permission to write, class. Give yourself permission to write and be yourself. You're not trying to be me. You're not trying to be Gary Soto. You're not trying to be Annie Dillard. You're not trying to be, Cormac McCarthy or any of the other writers from town here or anywhere in Texas. Or you're not trying to be that woman who wrote Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling. You're not here to be Sandra Cisneros. Those are all great people. You're here to be you. You give yourself permission to write, and I'll guide you with it, class. Because that's the great thing, is it's an individual journey. I'm still doing it. You get to do it too. So if you're going to write, I'm going to write. And we get in there and we try and do the best we can. We draft, try and get things together, then we polish. We draft, we polish, we work at the writing center. And what you turn me in, when I give you the formatting for how an essay is going to look, college, professional essay, then you let that thing go and then I'll grade it. All right? I'll hit everything, class, to help you. And then, the journey continues. So be good to yourself. Get some drafting done. I'll have another video. Next week we'll do another video. And I'll tell you more about deadlines and everything else that's going on. But right now, be thinking about what you want to write about. Remember, it needs to be powerful. Powerfully sometimes positive, maybe not so positive. Look at the techniques on how you're going to get in there. It's all in those readings we've done. Get in, get out. You're going to be using dialogue in there. We'll talk about that in my next lecture. You're going to put your scene in motion. Go back. Once again, that's why we've read Gary Soto. That's why we read Annie Dillard. Those are good examples, once again, of a memoir. All right. So, class, I think we've taken care of everything we need to. Once again, if you ever need to contact with me, contact through Blackboard Messages. Now, also, if you need to contact me, make sure you do. Make sure, because I've written back to students already this semester where they didn't read my announcements. I've given out some huge in-depth announcements, and they're asking me questions that I've already gone over in the announcements. So I'll tell them, go back and read the announcements. I'm here to help. I got a lot of students this semester. I'm not going to go over stuff and over it when I've already posted it and the information is there. But I'll help. Well, I'll help once again. So, and also when you write to me, remember, this is the last thing I'm going to say tonight. Remember this. I'm an English professor and an author. You're an English student in college level, university level writing class. When you write to me, if you have to, and send me an email, get it as tight as you can. When you write to me, you're not sending me a text to one of your friends. Make sure that, remember your things about grammar, remember about sentence structure. Once again, it's all in our books here that we have, the Norton Field Guide to Writing, 5th edition, the Nancy Hacker's A Writer's Reference, MLA 2018 update, the Nancy Hacker book, A Writer's Reference class. That is all about, once again, the guide to writing. Got questions about run-on sentences? 15 pages in there. You got questions about using the comma correctly? 15 pages in there. Noun subject agreements. I'll be lecturing on these things, class. I'll be helping you this semester. But once again, when you write me, get it as tight as you can. And then write me. But remember, you're not sending me a text. You're putting your best foot forward as a student and letting me know that you can write. With that said, class, once again, let's continue here at Community College. I hope you and your families stay well during these challenging times. It is challenging times for all of us. We're going to get through this. And then, class, also, have a great weekend as best as you can. Remember your deadlines for this assignment. And I'll leave you as the Irish always like to say in Ireland. When you're going to leave somewhere, they say, good luck, good luck, good luck. Class, I'm wishing you all the best and good luck. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.